My name is Josh Jenkins. This is my FTT 111 practical application for week 8, the Fastners Lab. Today is September 6th.
For the first part, what we're going to do is we're kind of just going to lay everything out, kind of show you what we have and kind of what the process is going to be. So with anything we're going to do, safety has to be first. You'll see that we have a pair of safety glasses. We're going to be using those for most of some of this process, and a pair of gloves because we will be dealing with Permablue here, which is toxic, so we'll be doing that as well. One of the other things that we got, well, the star of the show is going to be this piece of aluminum we have right here. This is what we're going to be marking, and this will be drilling, tapping, putting our screws into, and then stripping or cross-threading, extracting, cutting off, and then extracting the rest of it. One of the tools that was sent in the kit was this tap handle. I played around with it a little bit. It's a little finicky, so I just wanted to show that we do have it. But for this one, I'll be using one of my own personal ones that I have, just because I trust it a little bit more. Another thing we'll be using is a punch. That will be the initial part where we're after we get everything marked up, we'll be marking the center point. Of course, we'll have calipers, our digital calipers right here. Get back in focus here. Boom. We'll have our digital calipers right here. Of course, a pen, we'll always need one of those. A bit of sandpaper for a little bit later on. A Gi marker for marking this up for when we're cutting line or marking our lines. Didn't have any Dykem blue, which is suggested, but I have this giant marker, which I think is going to be just fine. And then, of course, we have some WD-40. I'm going to use this as a substitute for cutting oil. I know it's probably not the best, but it's a fairly similar consistency, so I'm going to go with that. And if I have any problems, then you'll see me using cutting oil. So, as for the parts that as for the bits that came in it, we have our. This is going to be our center drill. This is the bit that just goes in a little bit after you've made your initial punch with the punch bit. Then we've got our number 31, which is going to be the bit that actually drills all the way through for our fasteners, which are right here. Before we get to that, we're going to have to use our tap right here, which I'll use in conjunction with my tap right here. So this is the actual bit. Here's the tap handle. And then, obviously, once we go further down, then, part of it is to cut the top of the screw head off and then put a small hole through it with this right here, which is smaller than the diameter of these screws right here, and then extract it with our extractor right here. So those are our basic parts for everything. I did forget one thing. We do have our Dremel right here, which I'll be using to, like I mentioned earlier, we'll be using it to cut everything back in focus. There we go. Oop. There we go. We'll be using this to cut the drill head off. So we've got that. So yeah, the next part you'll see is me laying out the aluminum block here with a magic marker, and then we'll be using our calipers to get everything set up. So that'll be coming up right now. Now we got the workbench here cleaned up. What we're going to do is we're going to just I'm going to mark it up real quick, get some measurements. Get the center point from left to right, and then up and down length, width, and then once I get that center point right there, then I can take a half of that on each side and get another point. And so, because that's what the lab calls for, is getting 3 points. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and get that done, and we'll fast forward through, or I'll speed it up through some of this. And if there's anything I want to point out, I'll slow it down. So we'll just go from there. So I'm gonna zero it out real quick. Just even though it says 0, I'm just still gonna zero it out. So we'll hit the 0. Now we're gonna take a quick measurement of the weight point from here to here. Lock that in. That's at 103. Write that down here on my little pad. 3. Okay. Zero it again. And let's take another measurement going up and down like this. comes in at around 52, and this is all in millimeters. That comes in around 52, 83. So what we're going to do is, now that we've got those measurements, and write those down. Okay. So now I've got those written down. I've gone ahead and did a little bit of math right there. Come here and then brace it against this edge right here. Make a scratch with the calipers up. And I should be able to come on this side and do the exact same thing, and it should just be the same. So, and it is. So now that I've got that, let's turn that back on at 51. So now if I go back to what I said at 26.75, zero that out again. 26.75. Come up here. Should just be able to make a little scratch right there. Should be able to see that right there. Come on the other side. Should be the exact same. Okay, cool. So now, if this was 52, or this was 51.5, half of 51.5 should be what? 25.75. And now I've got my, go back and focus here. And now I've got my 3 points. So now I've got our 3 points. Take the calipers, set them aside, and grab our punch. We'll grab just this little, I think it's a drywall hammer. I'm just going to put a hole right there in the center. Do it one more time. Lined up. There we go. Got those started. So what we're going to do is I'm going to reset again, clean everything up, and get set for the next bit, which will be to start the holes, drill them, and go from there. For this next part, what we're going to do is we're going to take our center drill bit. It's literally just a bit to get a center hole started, and we're going to start it on these 3 holes. The key with anything that we're going to do in this lab is to go slow. These bits are nice and hard. They've got a nice hardness to them, but they're brittle. So we'll go pretty slow. Probably even just, don't probably need it right now, but we're just going to start it with a little bit right there. So we'll just start with that. So we'll start right here, put it in that nice little punch hole we got, and we'll just make sure we're not going nice and slow. That's all you really want to do, is just go into that first little bit right there. That's all you want, is just a little bit in. Good. All right. See, we got our 3 holes. I'm going to switch up bits and we'll be right back. one of the things I didn't quite take into consideration was the aluminum filings that are made. So I had to clean those up real quick because as I was moving around, one of them actually got down into my sandal. I stepped on it, and it hurt. So just keep that in mind. Two things: one, consider aluminum filings, and two, don't wear sandals. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've switched up bits. I'm now over at the number 31, as you can see, and we're going to put holes straight through. This is up in my vise, so I'm going to put a little bit more on here. So we're going to drill, and again, remember, like I said, go slow and steady because it's a hard bit, but it's brittle, so we don't want to break it. So we'll just go nice and steady. And we're down through our first one. All right, got our second hole done. All right, got our third hole done. So we're good to go. So next thing you'll see is me tapping. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to tap it using the tap head and the 648 tap that we have. So again, slow and steady. We're going to grease these up. Only thing I did last time was only thing I did in between was I took a file and I took off some of the burrs that were on the top and the bottom just to make this a little easier. So I'm going to go ahead and grease these up. And then we're going to start with this right here. Get this as level as we can. And we're just going to start turning. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn one full, bring it back, turn one full, bring it back. That's to get the chips out. Because this doesn't self-extract themselves, you kind of have to do it yourself. So we're just going to go ahead. All right, got the second hole done. All right, got the third hole done, and now what we're going to do is we're going to put the fasteners in, reset, and I'm going to put the screws in next. Now the next part we're going to do is we're going to take our screws and we're going to make sure that they fit. And when they do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to booger one of them up, the top. And then I'm going to attempt to repair it using a file and some sandpaper. And after that process, that's going to really mess the whole screw up. And so I'm going to have to reblue it using the Permablue that we were talking about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start that. And if there's anything that I need to stop and talk about, I will. So get back in focus and let's go from there. It's really important when you're doing any kind of gunsmithing to use the correct screw or screwdriver. Because you want to make sure that there's not a lot of play in it. When like this, you see there's not a lot of play in it, and it fits correctly. That's what you want. You want a good, well-fitting screwdriver. So these are just some basic ones I've picked up over the years that work really well for my applications. So I'm gonna get these screwed in right now. All right, all three screws are in. Pull out the lights real quick. See, all three are in. All three are flush. Let's put them back. Let's vise it back up. Got our vise back up. So now what we're going to do is going to destroy a little bit of this work. So let's grab ourselves a screwdriver. That has no business doing this, so we're going to go ahead and we're just going to mar this up super bad. We're going to booger this one up pretty bad here. All right, so we're going to take it out with the proper one. Hopefully I can take it out with the proper one. That's good. All right, there we go. Got it loosened up. take the other ones out here right now, and we'll get this reset. So get this reset, and I'll show you the difference between these. So as you can see, let's get this back into view. Let me just do it with two hands. So you see this one on this side. This is the good one. This is the one that wasn't marred up. And then on this side right here, I marred this one up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my file back out. I'm going to take this, I'm going to rough file it, and then I'm going to use a couple of little smaller files to get it back into shape. So what we want to do is we make sure that we get all the walls level back out, and then we'll use up the sandpaper like we were talking about earlier to get it shaped back up. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. Got it mostly back. So now what I'm going to do is grab my screwdriver. I'm going to take this, and I'll take a bit of this paper towel that I got on my screw. I'm going to wrap it in this. I'm going to wrap it in this right here so I don't damage the teeth, not the teeth, the threads. Good Lord. So I don't have metal on metal going on. There we go. So now I'm going to take a bit of this. I'll find me a relatively flat surface. Yeah, that's perfect right there. I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to get rid of any further burrs that are on there. Slow and steady. So as you can see, I've got it mostly back to what it should be now. This one is free of all burrs and everything, and then the screwdriver that we were using earlier still fits in just nice. So let me hold on. There we go. so now that it's like that, so now what we got to do is we got to reblue this. So we'll get set up. I'll reset here again, get this set up, and then I'll do a quick rebluing. The next part we're going to do is we're going to reblue this screw head to get it back to looking like that right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to, first off, safety first, we're going to put on some nylon gloves, or nitrile gloves. We're going to put on some of those because this craft is somewhat dangerous, and I don't know exactly what's in it, but I'll put it up on the screen somewhere in here what it is. It's the chemical reaction that it does is it causes the metal to turn blue. So I'll find the chemical reaction and put it up here too, I think. So, but first what we want to do, let's see if I need to pull something off here. Yeah, I do. So we're going to pull that off real quick, real safely. And I've also got glasses on to prevent any spills. So we're going to shake this up real good. And I'm going to put just a skosh into the lid cap here. Got our Q-tip, get that nice and wetted up. And we're going to come over top of this, and then we're just going to rub it on. That is working effective, and that is going super fast. Give it another little dousing of it right here. Rub the excess off. Come on it again. Take the excess, pour it back in. Don't get it all in anything like that. That's why we wear gloves. The paper towel, get that up super quick so it doesn't do anything else. All right, that's why we have this nice protective pad. All right, let that dry. And then this is the screw we just reblued. And then this is one that hasn't been reblued at all. I'm pretty impressed that that worked out as well as it did. So yeah, I'm next step is going to be our next step is going to be we're going to cross thread into this, and then we're going to retap it to fix it. So I'll get this rechucked into here, so or reviced into this. Now that I've got this back into our vise here, I'm going to take one of our screws. Let's see, which one do I want? You know what? I'm going to use this one. And we're going to cross thread it. That is to say, put it across threads, and then we're going to do this at a pretty severe angle. So I'm going to let's just do it on this one right here. We're going to just all right. That's deep enough. So as you can see, it is at a you know what? That's a much better angle. So it should be going straight, but you can see that it's at a fairly severe angle going up this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull that screw back out. We're going to take our tapping device, re-oiled that down there. We're going to re-tap it and then put the screw back in. All right, because we didn't go too far. We didn't go too far with that screw. I'm going to pull it back out. And we're going to put a new screw back in just to make sure it works. As you can see, probably not, as you can see, the screw went all the way in. So now we get to the part that a lot of people get a little nervous about, but this is the I'm going to mess up all this good work, and I'm going to take this, cut the head off. I'm going to then take a drill bit, I'm going to drill it in a hole a little bit ways down, and then I'm going to hit the extractor and try to pull it out. So I'm going to actually going to pull this back up a little bit. All right, so I'm going to grab the Dremel. I'm going to actually switch out my glasses here for safety glasses. Let's find the safety glasses, which are right here. Let's switch out safety glasses, and we're going to Dremel this thing down. Hey, I got it down. So I'll put it back in just a little bit because this tool is not really meant for this, but that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually unchuck that bit. I'm going to sand it down a little bit so it's it's in a better spot. All right. So you can see now that it's flat with the rest of it. So first thing I'm going to do now, clean up my desk a little bit here. I'm going to use this very tiny drill bit. And we're going to put a hole right here at the top. But you know what we could do too, right? We could actually go back and grab our center bit right here, which I think I'm going to do so I can get her started. I think that's a good idea. All right. Now that I got the hole drilled, what we're going to do is we're going to use our extractor bit and extract this bad boy out. And there we go. I have successfully extracted it after drilling it out. So the next step here, I think, is going to be, make sure that the screw can go back into the hole that I just put it in there. So we'll just make sure that the hole is still fine, which I believe it is. Goes all the way in, and if you can see, that's from putting the center hole and then drilling it out with that really fine screw bit. And there you go. Screw goes all the way back in. That was a pretty in-depth process. So I learned a little bit there, learned a lot. So let's go back over to the thing and we'll just do a quick overview.
All right, so that completes the Fasteners Lab. That was a lot of fun. I think, you know, some of the challenges that I had with that was that I've never done anything like this. So, you know, kind of taking it slow and trying to figure out where the happy medium was between going slow and being as efficient as possible. Really cool. You know, the other kind of issue I had was a camera dying on me. So other than that, like, learned a lot. Really happy how this product or this lab turned out. But yeah, thanks for watching.